Hey student, watch this video and learn how to ask questions in English in the present, in the past, and in the future. Coming up. Hey friends, Teacher Prix here to help you talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime in English. Hey Instagram, thank you so much for watching, for participating. Thank you for watching. If you're watching live, thanks for joining. I know that for some people it is very late, for others not so much. And if you're watching the replay, that is awesome. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, my friends. Now, let's dive into the content because today I have a lot of stuff to share with you guys, okay? And if you are on Instagram and you want to see the slides that I have prepared for this lesson, come to YouTube because on YouTube I can show you the slides with the explanations that I'm going to be sharing with you guys tonight. Now, if you are here watching live, let me know in the chat where you are watching this from, okay? If you are from Brazil, if you are from Spain, Argentina, Uruguay, and if you are my baby sardine, let me know here that you are my baby sardine. Anyway, my friends, asking questions in English. You know, why study questions? This is something that students sometimes ask me when I am giving explanations about asking questions, when I am telling them about the importance of asking questions in English. And you see, it is so important because it'll help you become more confident the next time you have to speak to someone in English. And if you think about it, conversations will flow more easily if you know how to ask questions in English. And one thing that happens to students, and I've done this several times with many different students from all different levels. Every time I look at them and say, ask me a question, ask me an interesting question, they don't know how. They go back to very basic questions, very simple questions. They don't have the imagination. Now, disclaimer, everybody has imagination. Everybody can use their imagination, but you need practice. If you never practice asking questions, the next time you are in a conversation in English, it is going to be difficult for you to think of how to ask questions. Students are often so worried about talking and speaking and answering things in English, but they never realize the importance of knowing how to ask questions, because you are going to feel more confident if you know what to ask. The questions in a conversation will help you get the conversation going, okay? Because if you are feeling a little lost, if you want to guide the conversation, it'll be easier for you to do that if you know how to ask questions in English, okay? So here, this is not just a grammar lesson. This is a speaking strategy. If you want to become a better English speaker, you've got to step up the game and learn how to ask interesting questions. And I'm gonna show you how, okay? Teacher, I don't know. I don't know how to ask questions. I don't have anyone to practice with. You know, I'm alone. I study by myself. I have no idea what questions to ask. What do I do? Well, my friends, to be able to do this practice, if you are alone, if you are studying alone, you need to have a clear context in mind. And what is a context? I agree with you. It may be very difficult to think of questions that you can ask in a conversation if you don't know what conversation to talk about, if you have no subject in mind, if you have no context in mind. So to be able to do this kind of practice, to sit down and write down questions, I'll be giving you some recommendations. The first thing you need to think of is the topic. What are you interested in? What conversation subjects are you interested in? And I have several videos here on my channel where I give you recommendations about speaking practice, speaking alone, how to practice English speaking alone. But here, if you want to be able to ask better questions in English, you need to do this. The first thing you need to do is, I need to sit down. I need to think of what conversation subjects, what topics, maybe not necessarily a conversation subject, but what topics you want to talk about. And based on the subject, based on the topic you have chosen, it'll be easier for you to ask a question, to make questions, to think of what kind of things you can ask connected to that conversation, connected to that topic that you have chosen. And this is very important. So here, sit down, make a list, choose, make a list of 5 topics, 10 topics. It's okay because you're not going to do it all today. You can divide and slowly practice, all right? So choose 5 to 10 ideas of things you can talk about. Then choose one. So you made a list of topics. Oh, okay, I'm going to talk about, I would like to talk about. So let's be realistic here. I would like to talk about this, 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 and that. I am interested in this, this, and that. Now you will choose one topic from the list, and you are going to practice writing down 5 to 10 questions, because that way you will be practicing grammar in a contextualized way. There's a real context. There is a real necessity. There is a conversation subject here. There is a topic for you to talk about. And that's the idea here, to prepare you for the real world, because I want you to be able to feel confident asking interesting questions to people in English, in conversations, when having lunch, when getting to know foreigners, native speakers or non-native speakers, or in a job interview, being able to ask questions about your future position. That's what I want you to do, okay? Susanna, you are in Boston. I know, right? It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I hope you enjoy Boston. Enjoy the weather. It's probably cold already, right? Now, moving on. Oh my God, where am I? Yes, okay. Now, here, when you practice writing down the questions, you will be able to answer your own questions. So here, you will be able to practice many different aspects of the language. You will be practicing grammar in context, not just sitting down to do exercises. No. There's a real purpose here, a situation when you can actually talk to people and ask those questions. So you will be practicing grammar in context. You will be practicing vocabulary. But teacher, how? How am I going to be practicing vocabulary? When you sit down to create your questions, you may not know a verb, you may not know an adjective or a noun, so you will need to look up some words. That's when I tell you that translation may be necessary. As I always tell you guys, I do not approve of translation. But in this case, you are creating a question and you don't know one single word to finish your question, then you can Google that word. It is necessary. So in that situation, you will be studying vocabulary. You will be practicing your writing skills, because you can do this by writing. You can create your questions by writing. Actually, I urge you to do that. Write down the questions, because when you write, you practice different aspects of your memory. You practice your physical memory. So write down the questions you are thinking of, okay? As I said, choose one topic and write down 5 to 10 questions, okay? The next thing, speaking. Yes, you can also practice speaking. How? Well, you created 5 questions, or maybe you couldn't. It's okay. Maybe you created 3 questions. Now you can practice answering those questions. And you can record your voice answering those questions, because after that you can listen to yourself. So look at this powerful combination of exercises. First, you think of a situation, a topic, something you are interested in. Then you create 5 to 10 questions, and you will be studying grammar that way. And here I'll be giving you a lesson about present, past, and future to help you with the structure, to remind you and review the structure of asking questions in English. Then you will be practicing vocabulary because there may be a word you don't know that you will need to look up, that you will need to find out. You will also practice writing. You will be writing those questions. You will be thinking about how to organize your question. And finally, you will speak. You will practice answering your questions, the questions that you created. And more importantly, the questions you created about the subject you are interested in, the thing you want to talk about, the subject that you want to be able to express your opinion, you want to be able to explain. Imagine yourself talking to people about that subject. How awesome is that going to be when you feel more confident talking about that topic, talking about the things you enjoy, your favorite movies, or talking about the weather and the environment, and interesting subjects that will make you feel inspired. That's my goal. It's much more than simply doing an English exercise. It's something that will help you speak English in the real world, talking to real people, okay? Now, that being said, I need water. I always drink water. One day I was making a live lesson and I didn't have water near me. I started coughing. Not cool, my friends. Now, questions in the simple present. I will talk about questions in the present, questions in the past, and questions in the future. This is not a very basic lesson, okay? That's not it at all. I'll be giving some basic explanations, but it's not a basic lesson. So if you want a complete simple present video, a complete simple past video, a complete future video, I have them on my channel. There are many playlists here, okay? This is more practical to help you talk, to help you ask questions, to help you review important content so that you can communicate more easily and get inspired by choosing interesting subjects you want to talk about, okay? Now, in general, there are two types of questions, closed-ended and open-ended. What's the difference? Closed-ended questions are questions that are yes or no. Do you like sports? Yes. No. Do you speak foreign languages? Yes. No. Did you watch a movie last weekend? Yes. No. Are you going to travel next year? No. I don't know. So these are simple questions because it requires a yes or no answer, okay? Of course, I can continue my answer like, are you going to travel next year, Priscilla? No. Well, I don't know. I don't know what's going to be like next year. So this part is not really the answer. This part is additional. I am in a conversation, so I say no, and then I want to explain. I want to give more information. That is common. But the question itself was, are you going to travel next year? Yes or no? I didn't ask where. I didn't ask when. I didn't ask how. I just want to know yes or no. Are you going to travel next year? I don't know. Now, open-ended questions are more interesting. Actually, these are the questions I want you guys to study, to prepare for, okay? And why is that? And this is interesting because when I'm talking to advanced students, when I talk to intermediate students, whenever I ask them, ask me a question, fast, come on, give me your best. They ask me yes, no questions. Teacher, do you like sports? Do you live in Brazil? Because they don't practice asking questions. So the open-ended questions are the real-world questions, are the questions that you are going to need when talking to people in English. Of course, you are going to use yes, no questions. Of course, absolutely, you are. But open-ended questions are going to help you step up the game, have more ideas of what to say. It'll help you continue the conversation, make the conversation more interesting. Imagine a conversation where you only ask yes, no questions. Okay, are you from here? Yes. Do you like the food? Yeah. Do you live here? No. Do you need help? No. Are you going home? Yes. Are you enjoying the party? Yeah. Imagine a conversation like this. Where's the what, the when, who, how long? These are important things, and they are only going to happen in open-ended questions when you actually ask more information, you ask for more information. This is what's going to happen when you are in a conversation with someone. They are going to ask more and more and more questions. They may start with yes and no, but after a while, they will ask you for more, okay? Now, checking the structure, okay? Open, closed-ended, sorry. Simple present, okay? Let's talk about simple present now. If you're going to ask a closed-ended question in the simple present, you have two options of structure here. Do and does, because it's simple present. Then you have the sub. This is the sequence, okay? And for people in my email list, yes, if you are in my email list, you're beautiful. Tomorrow or Wednesday, no, today is Monday. Today is Monday. So tomorrow or Wednesday morning, I will be sending a PDF file with all of these explanations. So, you're welcome. But only tomorrow if you are in my email list, okay? Now, I have two options of structure in the present for... I put closed-ended in both, but the second one is open-ended. Closed-ended, the yes and no questions. Do and does, then after that, the subject, he, she, it, you, the doctor, the house, the apartment, the government, the city. Then the verb, an action. Do, like, study, drink, buy, sell, whatever verb you need. And then a complement. Anything, what is a complement? Any group of words, a small, short group of words, 2, 3, 4, 5 words, or just one to complete the idea of your question. It can be another verb. It's possible. It can be a pronoun. It's possible as long as it makes sense. And I'll be showing you some examples. The second option of closed-ended question is be plus subject plus complement. Verb to be, in this case, am, is, are, because I am talking about simple present. Then my subject, John, the party, the students, the dog, the church, a subject. Then a complement, anything that will complete the idea of the question, okay? If I ask you, do you like, and I stop, do you like? Finish up. Do you like vegetables? So vegetables will complete the idea of the question, because if I stop at like, the person will be like, do I like soccer? So you have to finish, complement, okay? Now looking at examples. Do, does here on YouTube, it's colorful. There are different colors, so you get to see the different parts of the question. So here we have do plus does, do or does, excuse me, plus subject, plus verb, plus complement. So as you see the colors, you will see the positions so that you can understand more easily. So here I'm using an example of question with do. What's the difference between do and does? The difference is in the pronoun. You will use do with you, we, they, and I. And does will be used with he, she, it, or any word that represents a pronoun in the third person of the singular. The house, the game, the doctor, singular. He, she, it, not we, you, they, I. Then you use does, okay? So do you like reading books in English? So here in the pink word is do. So I start with do. Then the yellow word is the subject. In this case, I used you. Do you? Then the orange word is like, the verb, do you like? Then the blue part is what I need. Maybe I need a verb. Maybe I need a noun. Maybe I don't need a noun. I just need another verb. I could use, do you like running? Do you like to run? It's possible. So this is the sequence you have to follow. But these are simple yes-no questions. Now an example with does. Does James? So does, the pink word, does. I start with does. Simple present, remember. Then James, the subject. And then like, I wanted to use like, but I could use another word here. Does James like reading books in English? Does your cousin remember your email address? So your cousin, he or she. So here I'm not using he or she or John or Peter. I'm using cousin. Does your cousin remember your email address? Do children, plural of child. So I cannot use does because children is a plural word. Do children have enough time to have fun? Well, I think so. Maybe not, maybe yes. The second kind of question is with verb to be. Now, if you follow the slide and you see the colors, the pink color, the yellow color, and the blue color, you will see here that I don't have the orange color giving me another verb because I only use verb to be. Now, disclaimer, I'm not talking about present continuous. I'm just talking about simple present. In a future video, I can talk about asking questions in the present continuous, okay? Now here, my pink will be verb to be. I'm asking a question. So verb to be will come first. Are, is, or am, if I'm talking about myself, am I? Then the yellow, the person, the subject. Are you? Are they? Is she? Is James? Is Peter? Are your friends? I forgot to put friends in yellow, but friends should have been in yellow. Are your friends from Jamaica? Are you Peter's sister? Is Sandra here? So that's the style of the question. And as you're watching this lesson, I really hope you can pause the video. Maybe not right now. Maybe right now you will keep going. But use this lesson as many times as possible. This morning I was studying Italian and I had to watch a video like this one, a grammar video. And I paused many times. I took notes. I created my examples because this kind of video is for you to use to study. Okay, so that's the goal. So here, I know I'm going a little fast, but you will be able to pause, take a look at the colors. I believe the colors are going to help you organize your questions when you practice. Okay? Now, the second kind of question, the open-ended questions, the questions that are more interesting because they require more information, they will require more details. W8, why did I put W8 in white? Now we have a new color, we have white, okay? W8, do, does, then I follow the sequence. It's the same sequence, but the difference is now I am including W8. And this W8 represents what, where, when, how often, who, whose, why, which, many of them, okay? So looking at the examples, what, I have to start with W8 because it's an open-ended question. What do you like to do on the weekends or here on weekends? I missed the letter S, okay? So letter S missing on the slide. Don't be sad. What do you like to do on weekends? Where does James buy his shoes? Because I love James' shoes and they're so beautiful. Where does he buy his shoes? I need to know. Tell me, James. Who does your cousin live with or work with? When do your children go on vacation? So you see the sequence. And here, your children in the last example of W8 plus do, does, your should have been in yellow, your children, okay? When do your children go on vacation? The next one, verb to be. You see, again, I have to put the W8, the white W8 over there on the slide at the beginning, and then verb to be. However, I'm not going to use be. Who be? Your best friend. No, I have to conjugate be. Am, is, are. Remember, I'm talking about simple present here. When is your birthday? My birthday is on September 13th, best month of the year. Spring, it's beautiful, not too hot, not too cold, just simply the best. Dun, 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 dun. I'm simply the best. Why is Sandra here? So there is a common confusion here when using when making questions in English with verb to be and asking questions with do and does, okay? The most common confusion is to use verb to be for everything, okay? And that doesn't work, all right? That doesn't really work. So you cannot use verb to be to ask all kinds of questions. So I believe that by looking at this slide with the colors, you will be able to better understand when you use verb to be and when you use do does, okay? So if you pay attention here to the simple present explanation, when I use simple present verb to be in the simple present, not present continuous, it's not possible for me to have another verb. The questions with verb to be are more limited, okay? Basically, when I'm not saying this is a rule, but in most situations, when I ask questions in the simple present with verb to be, they will be usually connected to feelings, very easy pieces of information, nouns. I'm confirming things. Are you okay? Are you okay? Oh, when is your birthday? Where are you from? Why are you so angry? So you see, these are the kinds of questions I usually ask when using verb to be, because here it's not possible for me to use another verb. If I want to do that, I don't need verb to be. I need to ask a question with do and does. Do you enjoy this kind of lesson? Do you watch the news every day? Do your friends come to visit you? You know, here I should have asked in the simple past, but do your friends like to visit you on the weekends? So if I need another verb, then I can't use verb to be. If my idea is to ask something about eating, drinking, buying, doing, verb to be is not the verb for you. And with this combination of colors, you can see that the questions with verb to be are more limited because verb to be has one specific meaning, one specific translation. Therefore, I will be very limited when it comes to asking questions with verb to be. When I'm using, let's see, another verb, okay? Like. If I want to know where you are from, I can't use like, because like, the translation is wrong. I like sports, I like countries, I like music. But I like from, where are you like from? It doesn't work, okay? Now, if you are enjoying this lesson, my friends, make sure to hit the like button. It's nice when you do that. Anyway, and hey, people, remember if you are on Instagram, if you want to check these slides, check my channel on YouTube. Anyway, moving on. Now, I want to talk to you guys about simple past. Yes, as I said, this is going to be a lesson where I show you how to organize your questions. But if you want to turn this video into a practical exercise, a practical speaking exercise, you will need to do what I told you at the beginning of this video. You will have to follow my recommendation and think of subjects, of topics, and based on the topics, you will use this grammar lesson to ask questions connected to the subjects that you chose from your list, okay? Now, in the simple past, you will need did, okay? Now, here you will need did, or you can use verb to be. Verb to be in the past is, we have two options, was or were, okay? I don't have any other option, so was or were. So here, let's start with did. If you follow the colors again, the sequence is very similar, very, very similar. The only difference is that now I'm not going to use do, I'm not going to use does. I use did because did is what's going to show me this is a question in the simple past form, in the simple past tense. If I use do in a simple past question, it may be difficult for the listener to understand what I'm saying. If you use a complement, a time expression like yesterday or last week or 2 weeks ago, the person may understand, but at the beginning, he or she may be a little confused, okay? So here, the sequence. Pink, did. I start with did. This is a yes or no question. Did, then my yellow, the pronoun, the subject. Did you enjoy, the verb? Did you enjoy the movie last night? Did you like the movie last night? I don't know. Have you watched a movie? Did you watch a movie last night? Did you enjoy the movie last night? Did James tell you the news? So here I follow the same sequence. Did, then the subject, James, then the verb, tell, then the rest of the sentence. Because if I stop at, did James tell? Did James tell the news? Did James tell you his secret? Did our cousin come here last weekend? Did the kids... I forgot to remove sleep. I have two verbs here. Disclaimer, if you're only listening, if you're not watching, have, I should have deleted have and included sleep. Did the kids sleep well last night? So here the verb should have been sleep, okay? Did the kids sleep well last night? So I follow the same sequence, okay? Now, I can also ask questions with verb to be in the simple past. Just keep in mind that if I ask questions with verb to be in the simple past, they are more limited. They're very specific questions. I don't have so many options. As I said, the same thing that happens in the present will happen in the past. I'll be able to ask questions about adjectives. I'll be able to use some nouns. And here again, I'm confirming yes or no. Were you tired last night? Were you home this morning? Oh, okay. Were you late for work yesterday? So were you late? Late, adjective. Were you late yesterday? Were you hungry this afternoon? The questions are more limited, okay? So here, if I follow the colors, same thing. I use verb to be, was or were. What's the difference? I, he, she, it was. We, you, they were. Okay, that's the difference. The meaning, the translation is the same. Okay, then my subject, he, she, it, the dog, the car, the news, the game, the people. Then the complement. Anything that will be necessary to complete the idea of the question I want to ask. Okay, so were you upset this morning? Were you okay? Were you okay this morning? No, I wasn't okay. But teacher, do I change the verb? You are changing verb to be. Why you are not changing the other verbs? In the simple past, when I am asking questions, I do not change the verb in the question, okay? The verb stays the same in the base form because I'm using did. If I am using verb to be, if I want to ask a question with verb to be, then I change verb to be. I change into the past form. Any other verb will not have that case. Well, with the exception of can. Can in the past, could. This is a conversation for another video, and I have channels where, and I have videos where I talk about can and could and other modal verbs. So here, if I'm asking questions with did, the verb stays in the base form, no changes, nothing happens. But if I am asking a question with verb to be changes, were or was, okay? Now, if I want to ask open-ended questions, if you see the color again, white, pink, yellow, orange, and blue, I follow the very same sequence. What did you do last night? So what is the white color? I start with the W8. Then I move on and I follow the same sequence. Did. Then you in yellow. Then the verb in orange. Then last night in blue. Last night completes the idea. Okay? Where did James buy his new shirt? James, very elegant. So I want to know where he bought his shirt. Where did James buy his new shirt? Who did your cousin want to see? When did your children go to Canada? So here, I start with the W8 and I follow the same sequence. If I want to do that with verb to be, I can. I follow the sequence again. W8, what, where, when, how, which, whose, how long. Then I use verb to be. Then the subject, and then the complement if necessary. When was the party? Why were the kids angry? Okay, so I follow the sequence. If you want a recommendation, Denise, I said there is a typing mistake. Okay. Now, yes, if you want to study, and I hope you study after watching this lesson, open a Word file, okay? And then you can try to do this, use the colors that I am showing you here. If you are a visual learner, this is great. Open a Word file and follow the sequence I am giving you. Maybe you have to change the white color because on Word it's white, so everything's going to be white. You can change to black. You can change the color, but follow the sequence that I'm giving you here, and that will help you organize your questions. Many English learners do not know how to organize their questions in English. So this is a good kind of practice to help you in real life conversations, okay? Now, moving on. Now we can talk about future, because the future, my friends, is right over there. Questions in the future. And here I'm going to be showing you two kinds of future. Will and be plus going to. And why is that? Unfortunately, many basic students only learn will, and will. However, in real life conversations, students don't learn that will is not so common. Will is popular, will is used, but not for every kind of conversation. Not necessarily for every kind of conversation, but for every situation. Depending on the kind of future question you want to ask, you cannot use will. And if you want to learn the difference between will and be plus going to, I have lessons here on my channel where I teach when to use will and when to use be plus going to, okay? So that is important, when to use will and when to use be plus going to. Now here, I'm going to show you the structure, how to organize the question, because it is a little bit different. That's why I need to show you. But when it comes to future, if you don't know that, study. You don't only use will. You need, you must, you have to, you've got to use other kinds of future. Be plus going to, present continuous, and so many other kinds of future, because there are more, okay? But if you learn be plus going to, you're good to go, okay? Now, will, if you follow the colors again, will in pink, subject in yellow, verb. I'm not talking about would, because I'm talking about future, specifically future, okay? Would is used in different situations, and that's not the goal here. But if you follow the sequence of questions the same way you follow the sequence to ask questions with will be the same thing with would, okay? So if you want to ask questions with would, just change will for would in this slide that I'm showing on YouTube. You're not on YouTube, so you can't see it, but here on YouTube, I am showing a slide with different colors. So instead of writing will, you can write would, and you would be asking a question with would. But the translation is different, the situation is different, it's not future, okay? Now, will, pink, then subject, John, Maria, the game, the sport, the teacher, the foundation, the organization, the subject, okay? Verb, any verb you want, not verb to be. Well, verb to be, yeah, it's possible. And complement, okay? Now, why did I correct myself and say verb to and said verb to be? Because it's possible. Now here, the game changes, okay? When I want to use will to ask future questions, I can use will to ask anything. I can use any verb, okay? Be, go, do, not can. Study, like, okay? When I say everything, don't consider modal verbs, okay? Modal verbs are different, they're special, so no, okay? Now here, will, subject and verb. Here in the verb part, I can use verb to be because verb to be in the future will be, will be, I will be, you will be, the game will be, the teacher will be, the doctor will be, okay? Plus complement, because if I only say the doctor will be what? Will be late, will be happy, will be angry. The doctor will be what? But here I'm making an affirmative sentence, of course. So I use will the teacher be late? Why? Well, she's not here. Well, will she be late? Well, she's probably late. Will the student come to see me? I don't know. I just want to know. So you see how it's difficult to ask questions when I don't have a subject? Even myself, as a teacher, if I'm not thinking of a subject, it is difficult to create examples. So it is much easier to have a situation in mind, a conversation in mind. So what I'm doing here in this lesson tonight is to show you how to organize your question. Now, if you want to turn this exercise into a speaking exercise, not necessarily a speaking exercise, but a practice that will help you become a better English speaker, you need to bring reality, okay? You need to bring subjects, conversation ideas, because then it'll be easier for you to ask questions. Then it'll be easier for you to organize your questions and practice then, okay? Now, let's take a look at will. So here, will you tell them the news? So will, then yellow you, the person, the subject, the verb I decided to use tell. Will you tell them the news? Will you tell my friends the news? The other kind of future. The other kind of future is verb to be plus going to and another verb. Now, be in this case, when I'm using the second kind of future, needs to be conjugated. So be is, am, are. So is, am, are, you will have to analyze which subject you are talking about. Then the subject, well, as I said, going to, and the verb and the complement. So this is a little bit longer because I have be, subject, going to. So is James going to be late? I used the tricky example. Here I said, is James going to be late? Why am I saying be again? Because I said, is James. Why be? It's a different verb to be because it's the verb that I need to make my sentence. Be late, be on time, be happy, be okay. Is James going to be okay? He had an accident. Is he going to be okay? So sometimes you need to repeat the verb because it's a different purpose. It's doing a different job in the question, okay? Are you going to visit me next month? Are you going to visit me next month? So are, verb to be. You, subject. Going to, mandatory. Visit, verb, action. Visit me, complement. Me is complement. Because if I only say, are you going to visit? Are you going to visit the kids? Are you going to visit the doctor? Are you going to visit who? Who are you going to visit? So I need to complete the question. And this is a yes, no question. Remember that, okay? For sure, Humberto's a baby sardine. You need to use going to in your questions, okay? Monica, no, the meaning is different when using will and going to. They describe future, but they are used in slightly different situations, okay? I do have a video here on my channel where I explain the difference between will and be plus going to. Actually, I have one video talking about will and another video talking about be plus going to, okay? Are you in the academy? I don't know if you are. I don't remember. I'm not sure. But if you are part of the academy, my English course, my online program, there are modules where I talk about the different futures, okay? Be plus going to and future will, okay? Right, moving on. W8 questions. And here, if you pay attention, I keep following the same sequence. The same sequence I showed you before. The only difference is that now I have the white color, the W8 question. And the colors are intentional because I'm showing you where the words go. I'm showing you how to organize the questions because this is a common problem students have. They ask very confusing questions because they confuse the positions. So again, if you use this video to study, which I highly encourage you to do, open a Word file and follow these colors and create your questions. This will help you, especially if you are a visual learner. If you are a visual learner, this is, wow, a delight, okay? So what will you do next weekend? Is this question correct? In terms of structure, yes, I'm following the sequence correctly. However, when it comes to the real world, a native speaker would not use will to ask this question. They would probably ask, what are you going to do this weekend? Or what are you doing this weekend? Two possibilities. Could I use will? Of course you could use will, but it's just not common. Again, I do have a lesson here where I explain when you have to use will and when you have to use be plus going to or present continuous. It is a very good video. Well, these are very good videos for you to watch, and you should definitely watch them. And here, I also, okay, the next kind of future, W8, verb to be, am is are, subject, John, Peter, Mary, the doctor, the school, the government, the city, going to plus verb plus complement, okay? So what will you tell them? Or what are you going to tell them? When will you be home? When are you going to visit your parents? Why will Peter quit his job? Why is Peter going to quit his job? So you see, if you analyze the differences, you will understand where to put the words you need. And here I'm showing you W8 questions. So this is the sequence you have to follow. But as I said at the beginning of this lesson, it is difficult to ask questions, to practice asking questions if you don't have a clear subject in mind. So if you want to successfully ask questions in English, think about conversations. Okay, so I want to talk about the weather. All right, the weather, that's an interesting subject. Think about 5 questions you can ask about the weather. Okay, I want to talk about cars. I like cars. Cars are amazing. I love cars. Well, think about 5 to 10 questions you can ask your friend, you can ask people about cars. Oh, but I don't know this word. Oh, I don't know that word. That's when you study vocabulary. In this situation, it is okay if you need to check the word and translate. Oh, I want to know how to say this word in English. Now, disclaimer, do not Google, do not search the translation for a long sentence. That is bad. What I'm saying here is, if you don't know a verb in English, then you have to find out. You don't have a choice. But if you Google an entire sentence in English, then we have a problem. Then it's pure translation. What I'm doing here with this lesson is to make you think, to make you work, to make you Create a structure, organize your question. And as you keep practicing this, it'll be easier for you to do that in conversations. And if you follow my recommendation, the recommendation I've just repeated, you will understand that if you want to do this to become a better speaker, you need to think of subjects, of topics you want to talk about. Otherwise, it'll be difficult to ask questions. Okay, now guys, I saw that someone says, oh, why the word your is in white? Well, it's because it was a typing mistake. Okay, if you see some obvious mistakes here, like, oh, you put two verbs together, it's probably, as I said, when I see the mistakes, I say them. Okay, there's probably a typing mistake. Other than that, my friends, I want you to participate in the comments. Write down 3 questions, okay? But think of a subject. If you participate in the comments, you can put the subject first, okay? Oh, I'm gonna talk about games. Then you ask 3 questions about games. Oh, I wanna talk about music. Then I'm gonna ask 3 questions about music. Oh, I wanna talk about house renovation or house decoration. 3 questions about house decoration. Oh, I wanna talk about the history of my country. 3 questions about the history of your country. Oh, I wanna talk about nails. My pink nails. 3 questions about nails. So you see, subjects, guys, subjects. Oh, but nails, nobody talks about nails. They do. It depends on the people you talk to, okay? I talk to my students about nails. Why not? I love getting my nails done, okay? So think about a subject and post your 3 questions in the comments, okay? Other than that, my friends, I'll see you tomorrow. And if you enjoyed this lesson, it'll really help me if you can share this lesson with your friends, okay? If you are on Instagram, you can tag your friend. I will leave this video available on IGTV. So tag your friend, tell them this is an important lesson. If you enjoyed this lesson, share this lesson with your friends and participate in the comments, okay? Thank you so much, and I'll see you, I don't know, I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Well, let me say bye to Instagram. Bye-bye, guys. And now bye-bye, my friends, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.